Hello, my wisdom walkers. And for those of you who are new to my channel, I welcome you. Thank you for stopping by. Now, I didn't mean to offend anyone with this title, but let's talk about it. Too many times people are trying to save a witch, and that's someone that's not looking to be saved. So, in this video, we're going to talk about helping versus saving or helping versus enabling. I want you guys to know the difference, and I'll give you some tips to know if what you're doing is actually assisting someone or if you're just hindering them. Now, what I'm going to talk about is years ago, there was this TV commercial, and it was about how advanced this particular car was. And in the commercial, the car is talking, so you're kind of listening to this car. And the car says, I am so advanced that I'll tell you when you need to have your oil changed, but I won't change it for you. It was a take on people enabling others and telling them what to do and then doing everything for them, impeding their own personal growth and keeping them from learning lessons, dealing with consequences, and seeing where their choices are leading them. Now, when you're helping someone, you'll be able to tell if you're actually helping them and not enabling them if the help is temporary and they're able to move on from there. So, for instance, if your friend or whoever it is that's requesting some assistance may need transportation for just a few days until they can get, their car out of the shop or purchase a vehicle. That's one thing. But if you start taking them everywhere every day and weeks are gone by and there's no progress on what they need to do to get out of that situation, then maybe public transportation is something they need to experience or increasing their funds so they can get their car repaired or whatever it is that they need to do that takes you out of the picture and allows them to be able to develop a way for them to transition to a point where they're able to assist themselves. Now, helping is when you're supporting someone, but saving them is when you're, well, kind of trying to control them. So you're giving them alternatives or giving them options where they have to do what you are advising they do, or they won't be able to continue to get your help. You're not really helping them. You're stepping into their life situation and then trying to get them to do what you would do if you were in that situation. And a lot of people think, well, that's kind of helping them because then they'll see my point of view. They won't. Their point of view is going to be their point of view until they have actually learned and adapted the lessons that they need to in order to get to that point where you're at. And some people may never get to that because, yeah, you're helping them, or I should say, enabling them. Now, a lot of times we, as a people, I was going to say, as women, but men also fall into this category. We think that we're going to be Captain Save-A-Witch, okay? We're going to come in, rescue them, show them the error of their ways. They're going to all of a sudden say, "Wow, I thank you. I never thought about it like that. That makes so much sense." It won't happen, okay? And to give you an example of that, I remember, of course, I remember when I was married and my notice I said was. So we're talking about an ex-husband here. And if you watched any of my previous videos on the marriage, you'll know why he's an ex. But at one point, I kept thinking, oh, I'm just helping him. Oh, I'm just helping him. And I found out that wasn't the case. He wasn't looking for help. He wanted to stay in the position that he was in. He was okay with the circumstances he was in. And it finally occurred to me that I did not want to keep trying to throw out a lifeline to him, and then he would pull us both out and we both would drown, metaphorically speaking, of course. So one day I decided this isn't working. It's not working for me, and it certainly isn't working for you. think I said that backwards. It wasn't working for him, and it certainly wasn't working for me. And I was okay with leaving that situation and doing it in a amicable way. So if someone is continuing to create circumstances, continuing to make choices that continues to leave them in a drowning situation, it's not much you can do about that. You can't control their behavior, their thought patterns, their beliefs, and certainly not their actions. And if their actions continue to keep them on a path that they claim they don't want to be on, they haven't learned anything and they'll continue to be on that path. Now, one way to find out if this person that is reaching out to you that you're consistently trying to help or support, if they give you three buts, then you already know they're not looking to change anything. What are the three buts you're saying? You know what I mean. If you come up with an idea and they go, yeah, but, and then you come up with a different alternative and they still say, yeah, but, and their buts are always something that's going to keep them on that path, keep them on that road, keep them falling into the same hole that they keep falling into. Be okay with that. I always say three strikes and you're out. So if you get three buts, yeah, but, I know, but, what they're saying is, but I'm not willing to change anything right now. And they're asking you in a polite way to just butt out. Okay. So three butts mean butt out and just leave them to their own devices. Listen, you guys, you are not responsible for what other people continue to create in their lives. And it doesn't matter who that person is, whether it's a relative, a family member, a colleague, a lover. You are not responsible for what they continue to create. They are. And they are the ones that need to be responsible and accountable. And the way that they show you that is by implementing the lessons that they're learning and moving forward in their lives, not staying in the same place and blaming their boss, blaming their spouse, blaming everyone else, the whole world but them. Okay. Now, with that, I want to say this allows you to stop carrying that burden of what someone else is creating. And I don't know how old some of you are out there, but there's this song by Bobby Womack called Harry Hippie. And in that, there's a few lines where he says, I like to help a man when he's down, but I can't help you, Harry, if you want to sleep on the ground. Sorry, Harry, I think I'm going to put you down. And that's the attitude and that's the position that we need to take when we're constantly trying to lift someone up, assist someone, support someone. And within a week, a month, same day, they're still in that same situation. Now, I want to share something a little humorous with you. I actually had someone in my life, no names, please, who was always looking to get some type of assistance or handout. And this person would actually begin to be resentful when you were able to help them. Like, why should you be making enough money that you can loan me money? Of course, they didn't say that when they were asking for the money, but then they start saying that, you must think you're better than them and all of these blame. Let me put the blame on someone else for the choices that I make. Well, this person wanted to be able to have um, access to my home. And just to let you guys know, how do I say this? What the hell is Sherry? Okay. Life lessons learned. You guys already know I'm outspoken and upfront. And I like my space as my space. And I don't think anyone else needs to have access to my home that I'm paying for. Okay. But this person thought they were really clever. And they said, and you can have a key to my place. Now, this person was moving from place to place all the time because of evictions, because of, landlords not wanting you to stay and, all kinds of reasons. And there was no reason for me to have access to a key for her place. So I asked her, I said, why do you think we need keys to each other's places? And she said, well, what if I'm walking across the street and there's a pothole and I drop my key? Then you will have an extra key that can get me into my place. You guys, you know what I said to her? Just don't walk over any potholes. Okay. I mean, problem solved. Hello. So just don't allow people to bully you, guilt trip you, things to make you do, or not make you do, because no one can make us do anything, but to have you feel as if, like, only help them just one more time. This will be it. This will do it. I'm telling you right now, it won't. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is how we really do hinder people from their own personal growth when we can insist on helping and helping and helping. Now, I also had a friend that she got paid opposite of my paydays, which is fine. I don't care when someone else gets paid. It doesn't impact me any. But she would run out of her cash, after she'd gotten paid, and knowing that my payday was coming up, she would ask to borrow money. And I don't mind loaning funds to someone who pays me back. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, I get it. But it had gotten to a point where over a 4-month period, I'm loaning her money every other week, and then she's paying me back, but then she has to borrow again. So at one point, I gave her a call and I said I would no longer be loaning you any money or any funds. It doesn't matter what the reason is. You have to learn to live within the budget that you have, not your budget and my budget. That doesn't work for me. So sometimes it does call for you to be upfront, honest, and firm. And of course, she said, okay, she understood, but she still tried to do that next week. And I said no. And then she tried it the next week and I said no. And then she tried it the next week and I said no. And you get the picture. So finally, after quite a while, she moved on to other people. And, it was a circle that we all were a part of. And so people start calling me, you're not loaning her money anymore. And I was like, no, you can continue to do that. I don't have anything to do with that. But that's not something I want to continue to do. And guess what? Those people decided to also let her know that they would be able to support her in other areas. But as far as loaning money out every other week, that just wasn't working. And so that person had to develop other ways to deal with the finances that she herself had. And well, I won't go into how that didn't work out for her, but again, those are really lessons that she needed to learn and responsibilities and accountability that she needed to pay attention to. So I wanted to say all of that to let you guys know that sometimes you just need to look and see, am I helping this person or am I hindering them? Am I helping them or am I enabling them to continue on the path that they've been on, the path that they insist on being on? And I'm just here to agree with that and let them know everything is okay and I'll always be here for them. Now, if that's how you feel, then fine, go for it. But I'm trying to talk to those of you out there who not only want to really support someone by being honest and upfront with them, but letting them know at some point they need to be accountable and responsible for their own choices, their actions, their reactions, and either deal with the rewards that come with that or the long term consequences. And sometimes those consequences can be they've lost a job, they've lost a spouse, they've lost, a home. They're living in a van or a car, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people make that choice, and for them, it works for them. But again, these are things that we need to take a look at and see if we want to keep hindering someone or enabling them. So, in the words of Bobby Lee Womack, I like to help a man when he's down. But how can I help you, Harry, if you want to sleep on the ground? Sorry, Harry, I think I'm gonna put you down. Sha la la, sha la 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 la. Okay, as you guys can see, I'm not a professional singer, nor am I immature one, uh, uh, amateur one. So on that note, I'm going to say thank you again. Please like, comment, and for those of you so inclined, please subscribe. You know my mantra: knowledge is in the knowing, but wisdom is in the doing. Which of these tips are you going to heed, and which of these are you going to implement in your life for the people that you're dealing with? Or I have to say this because I would be remiss if I didn't. Take a look and see if you're the one that's being enabled, if you're the one that's being hindered, because you're always asking, requesting, needing help from someone else because of choices or decisions that you've made in your life. And again, the whole thing is just to apply lessons as we begin to learn them so we can begin to experience the things in life that we want to create and stop creating all of this chaos we keep experiencing. This is Sherry. This is Life Lessons Learned. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Bye bye.